Stolen code has a funny way of leaving fingerprints. 3 months ago, I was mass deleting every photo on my phone. Not because I was sad, because evidence looks better when it's organized. My name doesn't matter yet. Call me the girl who built an entire platform in 11 months, solo, from her kitchen table, while her co-founder, Marcus, 31, smiled at investor dinners and called it our vision. Our vision. Cute. You want to know what Marcus actually contributed? A handshake, a polo shirt, and a pitch deck with my architecture diagrams screenshotted and pasted in like clip art. But Marcus isn't even the worst part of this story. Not even close. See, while Marcus was raising a seed round off my repo, my boyfriend, Dean, 30, was telling me I worked too much, that I needed to relax, that he was proud of me. Sweet, right? Guess who introduced Marcus to the lead investor? Guess who got a finder's fee I wasn't supposed to know about? Still think Dean was proud of me? And then there's my sister, Nora, 34. The one who borrowed 9 months of my rent money because her kids needed a stable home. The one who co-signed nothing and returned nothing and somehow still had opinions about my savings account. 3 people, 3 betrayals. One very specific set of receipts that none of them know exists yet. So here's what I need you to understand before this goes any further. I didn't snap. I didn't cry in a parking lot and make a vision board. I opened a blank terminal and I started building something new. What did I build? Wrong question. Who did I build it for? Follow for more sweet revenge. The funniest thing about a stolen codebase is that the thief never checks the commit history. So Marcus closed his pre-seed, 7 figures, threw a party at some rooftop bar downtown, posted it everywhere, tagged everyone. Everyone except the person who wrote every single function he demoed. I wasn't invited, obviously. But my friend Priya, 27, was. Priya's a contract attorney who looks like she belongs at rooftop parties and also happens to read term sheets the way most people read gossip columns. Priya texted me one photo from that party, just one. Marcus shaking hands with the lead investor, a guy named Glenn, 46, who runs a climate tech fund and prides himself on ethical due diligence. Ethical due diligence. Glenn, buddy, did you run a single background check on your golden boy? Did you verify who owns the IP? Did you even Google the GitHub? Because I didn't delete the repo. I made it private, time-stamped. Every commit, every branch, every 2 a.m. patch when the authentication module kept breaking and Marcus was asleep in his Tribeca sublet. Now here's where it gets interesting. Dean, my supportive boyfriend, started acting weird right after the raise. New watch, weekend trips he was vague about, and his phone, which used to sit face up on the counter, suddenly lived in his pocket. I didn't snoop. I didn't have to. Because someone texted him while he was in the shower and his laptop was still synced. Want to guess whose name popped up on that notification? I'll give you a hint. She shares my last name. Follow for more sweet revenge. My sister Nora once told me that family is the only investment that always pays off. She said that while asking me to cover her car insurance. For the 4th time. But let's talk about that notification on Dean's laptop. The message was from Nora, and it said, "He promised the advisory shares are coming. Just keep her calm." Keep her calm. So let me piece this together out loud because I need you to hear how insane this sounds. Marcus stole my code. Dean connected Marcus to the investor and got a side deal. And my own sister, Nora, knew about all of it, and her job was to manage me, to keep me distracted, to keep borrowing money so I'd feel needed instead of suspicious. 3 people I trusted most built a neat little economy around my talent and my blind spots. You know what's wild? I almost missed it. I almost believed I was just tired, just paranoid, just too intense, which is what Dean called me whenever I asked questions. But here's the thing about being a software engineer. My entire job is debugging, finding the one broken line in 10,000 that makes the whole system collapse. And their system had a lot of broken lines. So I did what I do best. I started mapping dependencies. Not in code this time, in people. Who needed who? Who owed who? Where the money actually flowed. I built a diagram. It looked like a startup org chart, except every connection was a lie. Now, what do you do with a map like that? Do you burn it all down? Or do you find the single node that, if removed, makes everything else fall apart on its own? I found that node. Want to know who it is? Follow for more sweet revenge. Glenn, the investor. The whole thing runs on Glenn's money and Glenn's reputation. Not Marcus, not Dean, not Nora. Remove any of them and the others adapt. Cockroaches always do. But remove the funding and the credibility behind it, the entire structure starves. So I didn't confront anyone. I didn't send a single angry text. I went quiet. And quiet terrified them more than screaming ever could. Dean started love-bombing me. Random flowers, I miss you texts at noon. Nora called twice in 1 week, which is a new record since she usually only calls when rent is due. Marcus got nervous for a different reason. Because his CTO hire, some guy named Raj, 29, had started asking questions about the code base. Apparently, the architecture was unusually cohesive for a team of contractors. Raj couldn't find any documentation trail. No Jira tickets, no Slack history. Just clean, finished code that appeared like someone built it alone. Because someone did. Raj reached out to Priya through a mutual friend. Priya reached out to me, and I reached out to Raj directly. We had coffee. I brought my laptop. I showed him the private repo, the timestamps, the commit messages. One of them literally said, 2 a.m., Marcus is useless, fixing auth again. Raj went pale. He asked me what I wanted him to do. I said nothing. I said, I just thought you should know whose house you're living in. But Raj did something I didn't expect, something that changed my entire plan. What did Raj do? Follow for more sweet revenge. Raj quit. Publicly. Not loud, not dramatic. He posted a short, professional note on LinkedIn. Said he was leaving the startup due to unresolved questions about the origin and ownership of core intellectual property. That's it. 14 words that sounded boring to most people. But not to Glenn. Glenn's fund has an ethics clause. His LPs, the people whose money he invests, they care about clean cap tables and legitimate IP. One whiff of fraud, and they pull out. Not because they're moral, because they're liable. Glenn called Marcus. Marcus called Dean. Dean called Nora. Nora called me. And for the first time in months, I picked up. She was crying. Said Marcus was panicking, that the whole deal might collapse, that I needed to help fix this. She actually said that. Fix this. Like I was tech support for my own betrayal. I let her talk for 11 minutes. I timed it. Then I said, Nora, why would advisory shares go to Dean? Silence. The kind of silence that has a heartbeat. She hung up. 20 minutes later, Dean texted me. "We need to talk." I replied, "We really do." But I didn't meet Dean. Instead, I sent Glenn an email. Professional, calm. Attached the repo with full timestamps, Priya's legal summary of IP ownership, and a very polite note that said I had no interest in litigation. I just wanted what was mine. You know what's scarier to a startup than a lawsuit? A founder who doesn't need to sue because the evidence is that clean. So what happened next? Follow for more sweet revenge. Glenn pulled the funding. 48 hours. Done. No lawsuit, no courtroom, no dramatic confrontation in a parking garage. Just a calm email, a verified repo, and an investor who liked his reputation more than he liked Marcus. Marcus's startup folded within a month. He tried to pivot, but it turns out when your entire product was built by someone who's no longer there and who can prove she built it, pivoting means starting from zero with a fraud question hanging over your name. Dean and I had that talk. It lasted 9 minutes. He tried the "it wasn't what it looked like" thing. I showed him the synced notification screenshot. He went quiet. Then he said, "You were never supposed to find out." Which is honestly the most honest thing he ever said to me. I moved out that weekend. Priya helped me carry boxes. Nora. That one took longer. She sent me a 4-page letter, handwritten, full of childhood memories and the phrase "blood is thicker" used 3 times. I read it once, then I put it in a drawer. Maybe I'll read it again someday. Maybe I won't. That's my business. As for me, my name is Lena. I'm 28. I'm a software engineer. And 6 weeks after Glenn pulled the funding, his fund reached out to me directly. Apparently Raj had recommended me, said I was the most talented solo architect he'd ever seen. Glenn offered to back my next project. My project. My cap table, my name on the deck. I said I'd think about it. I'm still thinking. Some doors you don't walk through just because they open. Some doors you built yourself, and you get to decide when they open and for who. Follow for more sweet revenge.